lives over at Blue Lake, and he owns some property back in the woods over towards where I live, out back on Hawken Drive. Anyway, so I got to know him fairly good, and he said,
Yep.
you know, I go for
Good
every
evening,
day, I
ladies
go
and
for a
gentlemen.
walk.
Thank you for being here tonight. Hubbard County Planning Commission Board of Adjustment meeting procedure. All persons in attendance at Planning Commission Board of Adjustment meetings are expected to comply with the following meeting procedure. Thank you in advance for helping make this a manageable meeting. Copies of the agenda item materials are available for public viewing on the table located at the back of the meeting room. These materials are not to leave the table so that others in attendance may view them also. Please turn phones to vibrate or off during the meeting and conduct any sidebar conversations outside of the meeting room. Interruptions or other interference with the orderly conduct of the PCBOA meeting will not be allowed. Defamatory or abusive remarks are always out of order. Disruptive persons will be removed from the meeting. The chair may terminate speaker's privilege of address if, after being called to order, the speaker persists in improper conduct or remarks. Written material concerning agenda items must be submitted to the Environmental Services Department by 3:30 p.m. on the Wednesday immediately prior to the meeting date. Written materials will not be accepted after this deadline or at the meeting because the PCBOA will not have had sufficient time to review them prior to the meeting. Such material must state the agenda item for which it is being submitted and the name and address of the submitting party. Planning Commission business is conducted first, followed by Board of Adjustment business. The chair will call the meeting to order and explain the meeting procedure. The chair will read each agenda item into the record and ask the applicants to come forward to the presenter's table, state his or her name and addresses for the record, and explain his or her request. The PCBOA will then discuss the agenda item with the applicant. The chair will then ask for public comment on the agenda item. To facilitate an orderly, efficient meeting, there is a 3-minute speaking time limit per speaker per agenda item unless the chair allows the speaker additional time. The chair may terminate the speaker's privilege of address if, after being called to order, the speaker persists in improper conduct or remarks. When the chair recognizes the speaker, she or he may approach the audience podium and microphone, state his or her full name and address for the record, and write such on the speaker log, and then share his or her comments. The audience podium microphone must be used by the recognized speaker because the meeting is recorded. A member of the public may not donate his or her speaking time to another speaker. A speaker should state his or her comments and address the issue, not the applicants. All comments are to be directed toward the PCBOA. Please do not repeat comments already made by previous speakers. The chair reserves the right to ask a group of similar comments to appoint a spokesperson. If written comments have been submitted to the PCBOA, please do not read them aloud during the meeting as they are already part of the record and copies thereof have been given to the PCBOA. After everyone wanting to speak on an agenda item has done so, the chair will close the public comment period on the agenda item. No further public comment will be taken after this point. The chair will give the applicant an opportunity to address issues raised during public comment. The PCBOA will then continue its discussion on the agenda item, and the chair will entertain a motion on it. The PCBOA will make a motion to pass, deny, or table the item. Once a motion is made and seconded, the PCBOA will develop findings of fact for conditional use permit and variance applications, and then vote on the motion. Once a vote is taken on the agenda item, the PCBOA will move on to the next agenda item. Meetings commence at 6 p.m. and continue until all agenda items have been heard or until 10 p.m. No new agenda items shall be considered after 9:45 p.m. The PCBOA may at its discretion continue an item that is on the floor at 10 p.m. Any remaining agenda items shall be continued to another date or time, preferably the immediately following Tuesday at 6 p.m., and no further public notice will be provided for such a meeting continuation. The PCBOA, through the chair, may modify these procedures prior to the meeting or an agenda item. Thank you. All right, Planning Commission. We had no new business last month, so there will be no minutes, and there is no new business this meeting. So Planning Commission business is done. Board of Adjustment. We need to approve the minutes from last month.
This is Timothy. I'll move to approve the April 28th Board of Adjustment minutes.
Okay, this is Veronica. I second the motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from last month. Tim, how do you vote?
This is Timothy. I vote aye.
Ken, how do you vote?
This is Ken, I vote aye.
Veronica, how do you vote?
This is Veronica, I vote aye.
This is Larry, I vote aye. Minutes from last month have been approved. We have no old business from last month, so moving on to new business. Our first variance is an application 14-V-25 by Robert and Patti Wallin, part of government lot number 1 and part of northwest quarter of the northeast quarter, section 33, township 140, range 34, Henrietta Township on Long Lake, a recreational development lake, parcels 13.33.00230 and 13.33.00270 and 13.33.00280. Applicants are requesting a variance from sections 1001 and 1003 of the Shoreland Management Ordinance and section 4 subdivision A1C3 and subdivision A1A2 of the subdivision ordinance to create a new lot that will not comply with the 33-foot minimum with easement access requirement and to adjust the boundary line between two non-conforming lots in a way that will not make the lots more conforming with the ordinance. Would Wallins like to come forward to the presenters table, please? State your names, addresses, and a brief description of the variance you're applying for, please.
Yeah, I'm Patti Wallin, 16735 Downey Drive. And we are requesting the variance from the 33-foot roadway easement on Downey Drive. This will allow us to subdivide our homestead lot, which was intended when we acquired it in '91. It is currently two lots, or it is one lot, which we would like to divide into two. And as well, the other part of the variance is it would actually make our lots non-conforming to that rule then. And the other part of our request is to adjust our north property line. We own the homestead lot and the property north of it. And our well and our garden structure are on the north property. Obviously, since when we built, they were both, we owned both, so it wasn't a concern. But we will be probably relocating and selling the north outlot, and so therefore we want to adjust that north property line to include our well and garden structure. Any comments, Bob? Your name and address?
Robert Wallin, 16735 Downey Drive. I'd just like to say that, and it's in the paperwork before you, that Downey Drive has been in existence since 1947, servicing, I believe it's 10
parcels,
10 parcels.
property owners. 3 of them are,
Originally, it was 11, but it's 10 now because it's all grown over there and all that. And they access the property from a different road. And I hope that one more structure on this road isn't gonna screw up the whole other 10 structures on that road. And we have concerned Downey Drive citizens here with us.
Okay.
We have Brad Jensen, who's been maintaining the road for 40 years. And being that there's 2 easements on Downey Drive, we wouldn't be able to get a 33-foot easement from them. So therefore, we're landlocked, or whatever you want to say.
Okay, very good, thank you. Board members, any questions?
Well, probably just a couple. I think it's documented that Gudens do not want to increase their easement.
That's correct.
And I don't know if it's written or not, but at least verbally you've commented that Mr. Peterson is unwilling
That's correct.
to increase the current easement on his property.
That's correct.
Okay.
This is Tim speaking. I got a question for Eric. Is the only part making it non-conforming would be the 33 feet? If it was divided, everything else is conforming?
Correct.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? This rule or regulation, I don't know what you want to call it, but anybody that has an existing easement to their property and wants to subdivide is not going to be able to if you don't grant them a variance. And what property owner in his right mind is going to grant 33 feet of an easement to his neighbor, give up that 33 feet?
It's
I mean,
designed to
and
be,
the county has no ability to say, you have to grant that 33 feet. I mean, it should be one or the other anyway, shouldn't it?
it was designed for new development so that there was a proper road put in. And
Right.
basically, so anytime lots are split or anything like that, that gives us the opportunity to look at it and say, can you do this? That's why the variance process is here, so that if there is a situation that it can't be done, we have to grant, or have the opportunity to grant the variance. So that's why it is done this way. Ultimately, you know, I'm also a township chair, and being able to have a road that's wide enough that you can grade it, maintain it, take care of it, it's just good for everybody. And that's why this ordinance is there, to try and make proper developments. So that's the background on that, to my knowledge. At this time, I'd like to open to public comment. If you've got a public comment, want to come up to the other podium, and,
You don't have to get up.
no, you don't have to leave. They're over there is.
I just have a question on this. When did the 33-foot easement become a conclusive law? Number one. Number two, Downey Drive is not an actual road or even a minimum maintenance road. It's just an easement and an access across someone's property to get to our properties. My name is Brad Jensen, 16607 Downey Drive. And there's been several comments made on it as far as if they start putting a 33-foot easement in, then we're going to get all kinds of traffic through there, which is something that we are not wanting. It is a dead-end road, and one way in and one way out. And we do occasionally have problems with four-wheelers coming in and people on motorcycles going through. And we try and alleviate that if possible. And if it goes 33 foot wide, they're going to automatically think it's an actual road.
Again, this is an easement. It doesn't necessarily mean that the road has to be that wide. It's just that down the road and around the corner, if something comes up, it would be available.
Yeah.
But
Well, yeah, I imagine part of it is, you know, you're thinking about emergency vehicles and things like that. My parents owned the property prior to my inheriting it from them, and we had ambulances in there a number of times because of medical emergencies. So the roadway itself is plenty wide for emergency vehicles to get in and out.
Mr. Chair, I have a question for the public comment. Mr. Jensen, how long have you been maintaining the road again?
Basically since 1992.
Okay, perfect. And you've lived in that vicinity, or your parents have lived in that vicinity
Yeah,
since about that time?
I moved up here in 1992 from Minneapolis. We've had the property since 1962. And in 92, when I moved up, I started basically, you know, clearing the snow and filling potholes, and I happened to get the Henrietta Township grader when that went up for auction, so I use that for doing the driveway.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jensen. Also, so you live on Downey Road, Downey Drive now at this time then?
I have lived there since 1962, other than 4 years when I went to Florida to go to school.
Okay, so you live further down south than on the drive?
Yes, I'm like I believe 4 or 5
Okay,
lots south of Bob and Patti.
okay, that's what I needed. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Very good. Okay, any other public comment? Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Isaac Flenner, 16543 Downey Drive, Park Rapids, Minnesota. We're about a quarter mile south of the subject site, so a little bit further south than what Mr. Jensen had mentioned. Parents purchased the cabin 20 years ago. The allure for our family was twofold. Number one, the lake. Number two, the privacy. Made the drive today to personally attest to the statement made by the Wallins. It is our belief that the lake homeowners value the privacy and exclusive access, allowing them reasonable enjoyment by the current Downey Drive. Goes on to say since 1947, while we don't have history since then, over the last 20 years, access hasn't been the issue, including but not limited to cement trucks, cement pumping trucks, excavators, landscaping equipment, asphalt equipment, ambulance services, and septic equipment. Subdividing one lot for one more potential resident, in our opinion, does not affect the integrity and/or spirit of the neighborhood and access. We are in full support of the variance to create one more lot on Downey Drive, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, may I ask him a question,
Yes.
please? Sir, since you live further south, at any time have you encountered a moment that you've had nose-to-nose with the vehicle, or are there some actual places where you can pull off slightly?
There's numerous places where you can pull off. Have we? The road's not used very often. Have I? Yes. Have I had to pull into somebody's driveway to let somebody else go by and then back up? No question.
Okay, perfect. That's all I needed. Thank you.
Right. Yep, thanks.
Thank you.
Eric, also for clarity, in order to, for the Wallins to meet the requirements of 33 feet, the easement would only have to come as far as their parcel C. You would not have to go the entire length of Downey Drive. So if it was 33 feet just up to parcel C, they would be in conformance then.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
And I believe all these people were aware of that.
Okay.
Made that clear to them.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I'm Chris Goodmanson. My husband Dave is right there, and we've owned the property on Downey Drive, 16619, since '92. His parents were one of the original owners of the property, and not our property, but a couple lot lakes down. We also have had many large trucks down there to service our property. We did a full remodel in 2016 and 17, and we even had a big flatbed bring in wood down there with no problem getting in and out, gas trucks, ambulances, and motorhomes, and it's been very easy to get it out because on the north side, there are several areas where you can pull over easily. And so another person can go by. That happens a lot. I've had garage sales there, no problem, people coming in and out, and parties, and everybody loves it. The charm, it's all wooded, it's beautiful, and we really, really would appreciate it if it would just stay like it is.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Any other public comment? Seeing none, I will close public comment. Any other questions from board members?
This is Veronica speaking. I didn't attend the lot views with you four other members, but I did do the lot views on my own. And I did not have any difficulties going down. I did not run into any traffic. However, I did only stop at the applicant's location. I did not go any further down the drive. But I did not have any problems getting in or out. I did meet a vehicle right when I came back onto 170th, and they just waited for me to exit before they tried to enter. And again, I didn't see any problems. I did see some areas that, again, as some of the public comment mentioned, that there's cleared out places already naturally cleared out that they could pull off if they needed. However, I mean, that's what I visioned when I was there. If you guys had seen anything else, or if you'd went further south, you can fill me in.
Yes, sir.
May I make one more comment?
Sure. Technically, no.
That's okay.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Again, Bradley Jensen. As far as if you meet someone on Downey Drive there is no place that isn't more than, I believe, 120 feet between driveways to where a person can pull off and let another car go by all the way down to the end of Downey Drive.
Okay, very good.
This is gonna maybe make a comment. It's pretty obvious that all of the current owners not only want but are satisfied with this less than 33-foot easement situation. Seems to me that since the Wallins, what they'd like to do with their property, the three residual lots, parcel A, B, and C, all meet all the requirements for width, area, septic, every other requirement. Seems to me that what they would like to do with their property is reasonable, and something they should be allowed to do. So I would just say that not to penalize them because there's no other support for 33 feet. I think I would be supportive of the application.
Any other comments?
This is Tim, I agree with Ken.
This is Veronica. I also agree. Obviously, this area was planned many, many years ago. It appears prior to the ordinance, and I 100% support the requirements that we have nowadays for the ordinance when we do have new structures or new areas, parcels built. However, this particular one, in this situation, as already explained, that and they can clearly get through. And since it was done prior to the ordinance, I'm in support of the application as well.
I would be open to a motion then.
This is Ken. I'll try. I'll make a motion that we approve application 14V25. I think as far as finding the facts are concerned, I'd have to read. Hold on, let me. First one is the variance in harmony with the general purposes and intent of official control. I would say subdividing 2 lots into 3 with a proper line adjustment are reasonable actions for the property owners to take. I see no impact to the lake. All 3 lots have acceptable SSTS drain field setbacks. Expansion of the access road is constrained by current owners being unwilling to allow the easements to expand, and adding 1 lot to the current cart path seems to be a minor impact, and to a currently accepted situation by all parties. So I would say yes for that. And number 2 is a property owner proposing to use the property in a reasonable manner, not permitted by an official control? I would say it's reasonable to expand the property to 3 lots. It's 8 acres, and it meets all the size and other requirements for parcels, so I would say yes. And I believe would accept staff's report for numbers 3, 4, and 5.
Okay, this is Veronica. I second the motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second to accept this application and grant the variance, 14V-25. Ken, how do you vote?
Tim?
Okay,
Ken or Tim?
I don't care.
This is Tim, I vote aye.
This is Ken, I vote aye.
Veronica?
This is Veronica. I vote aye.
This is Larry, I vote aye. So your variance has been approved, you'll get a letter from
Thank you very much.
Environmental Services.
I'd like to make one more comment, that it, on the sheet that you sent us there, it stated we had a 16-foot, and it's 14 foot. There's one little triangle, Gaydon's piece of the
16.
Downey Drive is at
Yes.
16, the rest is 14.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
All right, next thing on the agenda is variance application 15V-25 by Ryan Family Limited Partnership, lots 6 and 7, Block A, Shorewood, Section 26, Township 141, Range 34, Lake Emma Township on Big Sand Lake, recreational development lake, parcel 16.42.00400. Applicants are requesting variances from sections 502.2 and 503 of the Shoreline Management Ordinance for a proposed lakeward expansion of a deck to be located within 100-foot ordinary high water mark and the 30-foot bluff crest structure setbacks. Now, I understand that there's been a change to that. We are within the 100-foot setback.
Yes, there's been a change. My name's Roger Peterson. I'm a general contractor representing Pat and Nancy Ryan at 2111 Glen Drive.
Okay.
The initial ramp was 27 feet long, coming straight out from the deck. Now you can see it's 9 feet encroachment onto the setback. And there was some question when you guys were out there about having another variance down where like the common area was, where all that other flagstone was. So we come up with another solution I hope you guys will consider. Off of the deck, we would come 15 feet, 9 feet onto the bluff setback, and off to the right, looking at the picture, you guys all have the picture. So off of the 9 foot, that's incorrect. It wouldn't go past that 9 foot. There'll be up in the left or right-hand corner, it's 9 by 4. It's supposed to be 8 by 4. There'll be a platform coming off there so we could turn the wheelchair to get them up that ramp there. We have did the elevation, and we can legally get this ramp in there if we can run it parallel along the bluff set or the setback line there in the red portion there, and we can legally get that 4 foot wide handicap ramp down with a 7.5 foot drop from that area on the red line there. And we may have to extend it past on the where it says gas cabin to get the length that we need. But that's the only thing we need in the setback area is that 9 feet, and run parallel along that line there until we could do a little switch back there. There's going to be more of a switch back there. We just don't know how it's going to lay yet because of the boulder walls that are designed in there, as you can see, as they were drawn in there by hand.
Okay. This is Larry, so that 9 by 4 wooden ramp up in the upper right corner, that's gonna L off the end of the
Yes, that would
ramp
go
coming off
to
deck?
the right side of that ramp,
Okay,
looking at it, and there would be a 8 by 4, not a 9 by 4.
okay.
And the purpose of that is to get the wheelchair turned and to try to get that elevation. We need that 8 foot to get it closer to the ground. Because after the ramp would be the flagstone, 4 foot, handicap zone then.
Does the board have any other questions?
This is kind of, I think is for Eric. The description that's in the write-up is not now what we have. Do we have to change that description, or can we just refer to the drawing that's been resubmitted as to that's what the application is for? You understand? Should I be trying to change this L-shaped extension, is now 15 feet and 21 feet from the bluff or whatever? Do we have to change that at all? What the application is?
Well, they've officially amended the application to what's on the screen now. So the original submittal was replaced by this second proposal, so.
So we don't have to change what's in that, okay.
The only thing, as Roger mentioned, was that the request for a 4x8 landing on the lake end of this 9x4 ramp would be the only thing that he's said is not shown on the sketch on the screen.
Okay.
I don't know, if you guys remember when you were out there before, the ramp went straight off the deck level. And now we're dropping it 1.5 feet and 15 feet just so we get down to the ground. Faster.
This is Veronica speaking again. I didn't attend the lot views with you, but I did visit with Nancy Ryan about the property. She walked me through the entire thing and explained that something else was going to be submitted, so I didn't have this with me. However, we did walk this path together that she talked about. I find it much more reasonable than the initial application. And walking it without any stones was much easier than the other way. And it was raining when I was there, pouring down rain.
At this time, I'll open for public comment. Seeing nobody here, I'm assuming there is none, so close public comment. Any other questions from the board?
This is Tim speaking. Could you explain that exact location of that 4x8 again? Is it at the end of this paver stone on the other lot?
You want me to point it out, Tim?
Yeah.
So at the end of that ramp, that 9 foot ramp, see where
Yeah.
that arrow is?
Yeah.
So that's where the ramp would go out 8 feet
Yep.
to the right.
Okay. In that curve up there or where?
Well, that curve, see that fieldstone rock is 4 feet too far out, that won't be there.
Oh, okay.
It'll be at the end of that it'll be at the end of the 8 foot ramp.
Okay.
So if you do a 90 on that, right where the 9 foot ends.
Okay.
So the ramp actually comes back towards the deck. From the 9 foot back, it'll come back.
And then because it's sloping down, you'll have a step down to that or something?
No, that's why we dropped it 1.5 feet off the deck in that 15 feet to get it down to the ground lower level. So we're actually gonna be about 8 inches off, and then he'll put his flagstone in there just to bring it up in that area.
Oh, okay. So he'll bring it up to match that ramp?
Yeah, he'll bring up and if we have to bury that ramp in there a little bit, we would. But
I
that's
see.
the only way we can get it.
Yep.
Because of the height of the deck and the very far end of the, handicap ramp way at the other end, we have a 7.5 foot rise, and we need that many feet to get the proper drop from code for that ramp. And believe it or not, we got it to work. Don't ask me how, but we did.
This is Larry. Yeah, I like this drawing a lot better than the other one. There was, the questions which I had about going through the bluff into that other lot and everything. This pretty well alleviates all of that. So yeah, this is a much better program.
And we tried to get it to the deck, but we couldn't do that because the deck is just too high up in the air.
Correct.
That's why we have to go away from it and then go down.
So just to sort of state what I think you're proposing, is that ramp will extend 9 feet into the 30 feet bluff setback. It'll meet the 100-foot setback from the lake. And that, I think from Eric's letter to us, move at least at a minimum a cubic yard of dirt to put in the flagstones.
Correct, yep.
So it's minimal impact.
Minimal, yes.
Okay, I'm okay. Much better setup.
Go for it.
If you're ready for a motion, this is Tim speaking.
I am ready. Yes, go ahead, Tim.
This is Tim. I'll make a motion to approve application 15-V-25. Is that right? Yes. The Ryan Family Partnership. I'll go through these findings. Number one is variance in harmony with the general purposes and intent of the official controls. Yes. The proposed ramp meets the OHW setback. And the topography slopes landward from the crown of that bluff. So it's not going to affect that lake there. Number two is the property owner proposing to use the property in a reasonable manner not permitted by an official control? Yes. A second fire safety escape is reasonable off the deck. Number three is the need for a variance due to circumstances unique to the property and not created by the current or prior property owners. I say yes. The home was built in a location that it needed to be in order to utilize the riparian right of the view of the lake, which made it real hard to make an access for that deck. Building down at the land level in the beginning, you wouldn't even see the lake. So this is for a more user-friendly location also for the ramp. And then I'll accept the staff's findings.
This is Veronica speaking. Before we move forward, we should probably go ahead and make sure that we address that it is the amended application and then also that 4x8 landing.
Correct. So from the document we received, it did not have, on the 9-foot that's encroaching into the bluff setback, it did not have the 4x8 L landing that would be from the end of that 9-foot towards the house, and I don't know what direction that would be.
North,
North.
northwest.
So it would include a 4x8 landing in that bluff impact zone.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
This is Veronica, I second.
Okay, I have a motion by Tim and a second by Veronica to accept this variance from the Ryan family. Tim, how do you vote?
This is Tim, I vote aye.
Ken, how do you vote?
This is Ken, I vote aye.
Veronica, how do you vote?
This is Veronica, I vote aye.
This is Larry, I vote aye. So we have accepted the variance. You will get a letter from Environmental Services directing you from here.
All right, thank you, guys.
Yep,
Appreciate
thank
it. I can go home early. Good night, everybody.
Yep.
Good night, Roger. All right, we are to miscellaneous and communications.
Don't have a good sense of what the June agenda size will be yet. We've got a couple submitted, but they're incomplete, so we're anticipating they'll get them to that complete state, but how many, I couldn't tell you yet. Reminder for the June meeting, we will be going to see that island property on Beltane.
Okay.
So dress however you want to
Bring our own life jackets.
for that. And tomorrow morning, Commissioner Van Kempen will be recommending his appointee nominee for filling Mike's spot on the board. So I should know by late morning tomorrow if that will be the case. And if so, the gentleman that he selected is Mike Stadansky, who's a Schoolcraft Township supervisor.
Is it this next month that we have have Friday fuels, or is that? It is in June now, right?
Probably, yeah, probably due to Juneteenth falling on a Thursday.
Okay. So, yeah, I remember looking at, there was one, and I couldn't remember what month, so.
Thank you.
It's
for bringing
Friday,
that up.
this next, in June, okay.
That's all I have.
All right, very good. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
This is Ken, so moved.
This is Tim, I second that motion and vote aye.
All right, we have a motion for an adjournment and a second. Tim has voted aye. Ken, how do you vote?
This is Ken, I vote aye.
Veronica?
I vote aye.
This is Larry, I vote aye. Thank you all.
Thank you, Larry. Good job, Larry.